Where Arkham Asylum, the first Batman game from Rocksteady Studios, had the sense of a fresh beginning for superhero action games, Batman Arkham Knight has a sense of finality. It builds on the revolutionary fighting style with powerful new moves and enemies. It expands on Arkham City's open world with a larger, more detailed version of Gotham City. It introduces a fully playable Batmobile and makes it an important part of action and puzzles. And it brings all of Batman's closest family of Gotham's superheroes and rogues together for an amazing, great-looking finale.
I've got you under my skin.
Arkham Knight's roughly 12 hours worth of story missions do a great job of playing up the long history between Batman, the three Robins, and Jim and Barbara Gordon. The plot does stray a little too far into the supernatural for my tastes, but in doing so, it drives wedges between allies and delves into Batman's psyche in an interesting way. While the mystery of the Arkham Knight's identity fizzles, there are plenty of other surprises to fall back on, plus strong performances. There's the unsettling monotone of John Noble as the voice of the Scarecrow, who plots to devastate Gotham with a fear gas attack. Mark Hamill, returning for some excellent posthumous Joker lines and reenactments of classic moments from the comics. And of course, Kevin Conroy as Batman. With a new, moderately large open world comes a rocket-powered, transforming Batmobile, which is to the streets of Gotham City as the Kool-Aid Man is to brick walls. Nearly everything in your path crumbles in a satisfying way as you chase criminals through dark, neon-lit streets, and we get some beautiful slow-motion explosions out of the simple vehicular combat. The Batmobile can also be controlled remotely, which makes it a great addition to Batman's environmental puzzle-solving toolbox. The twist is that when you hold down the left trigger, the Batmobile turns into a straight-up tank that you use to blow up battle drones, which is weird. On the one hand, this is about as un-Batman an activity as I can imagine. On the other, it's good fun when new types of drones and secondary weapons are introduced. It's nowhere near as interesting or replayable as the improved brawling or Predator fights, but adding this third mode of combat does great things for pacing and variety, ensuring we're never doing the same thing for long. Tank-based platforming puzzles are the one place where the Batmobile feels like a bad idea. They're only slightly more fun than they sound like. Also, both driving and tank combat became much more enjoyable when I switched the controls from the counterintuitive default scheme to the more natural toggle mode, where you don't have to hold the tank button down the whole time. Batman's signature strike and counter brawling and Predator fights feel better than ever. And of course they've been upgraded with dozens of powerful and interesting new mechanics that give us more to experiment with and master. Some, like the surprise multi-takedown, and the voice synthesizer gadget that can lure enemies into traps, seem overpowered at first. But the increased number of enemies and new types, like the medic who can electrify and revive his allies, balance it out. They made me change up my habits, and my targeting priorities. A few flashy scenarios let you team up with Robin, Nightwing, or Catwoman, and use them to execute some really elaborate dual takedown moves that temporarily swap you to control of that character. It doesn't add much mechanically, but fighting side by side with a sidekick is a very Batman thing to do. These climactic showpiece fights let Arkham Knight get away with almost entirely dropping the gimmicky boss fights that ended up as low points of previous Arkham games. The campaign is complemented by a ton of mostly excellent side quests built around stopping villains like Two-Face, Penguin, and of course the Riddler. Each mission series has its own gameplay style, and doing them as you find them is easily worth another dozen hours of variety. And that's before you even get to the challenge maps and the New Game Plus.
Don't you know, you fool?
If this is in fact the last Batman game from Rocksteady, the series will end on a high note. Arkham Knight is the biggest Batman game to date, not just in its map size, but in the wide range of different types of gameplay and its collection of characters. The addition of tank combat thematically clashes with everything Batman stands for, but it is fun. And having access to the Batmobile for the first time gives us a new world of possibilities for interacting with Gotham City. Arkham Knight is an outstanding game on almost every level. For more on The Batman, stick with IGN.